FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really want
to me. Respond to me. How you would respond to me?
The first question I'll ask is why.
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say, we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
FanZone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Said before, we have a very interesting and insightful, necessary conversation coming up next. So the Assembly of Southern Lawyers are concerned about administrative failures and delays that are plaguing the family court system. from orders that extend well past their resolution time to inefficiencies and case overload and attorney burnout, the system is now faced with a reputation of being less responsive, less transparent, and significantly more delayed than promised. So joining us to talk a little bit more about these issues are attorneys Mrs. Leslie Ann Lucky Samaru, SC, President of the Family Law Association, and Ms. Cyril Lacan, President of the Assembly of Southern Lawyers. So the Family Law Association is a professional body for lawyers practicing in family matters, custody, maintenance, division of property, and domestic violence relief. And the Assembly of Southern Lawyers is a professional body representing legal practitioners committed to promoting the rule of law, judicial accountability, and access to justice. So good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We're fine, thank you. Well, I'm fine, thank you.
Good morning, Vera.
Good morning. So just something I always like to start off with the interviews. I always like to ask, how is your morning going? It is very early. How do you usually start off your morning? Ms. Lacan, you can go first.
Usually with coffee. I can't function without coffee. and then I get into work in terms of planning my schedule for the day.
All right. Yes, Ms. Summer?
Similarly, I have to have my coffee in the morning, but generally I have pot almost every morning, as I do today, so that it's usually just get into office to get ready for court.
Oh, so we're taking some time from you today. Thank you so much for joining us. All right.
Sure. Our pleasure.
Of course. So I kind of wanted to start by asking, you would have written a letter probing the Chief Justice Ipo Archie, to probe an investigation into some of the delays in the family court. So just a little about that. What initiated this letter in the first place, Miss? Yeah, okay.
From the ASL, we were receiving an alarming number of reports from attorneys across both divisions, and that would be especially in South in particular, but also from North, attorneys who practice in South and who have their offices in South, about uncontested matters being delayed for months and unexplained adjournments. And because it was not an isolated complaint, it was a complaint that we received from a number of persons, it prompted us to send a letter to treat with the systemic nature of the dysfunction, the urgent need to protect public confidence in the judiciary.
Interesting.
Ms. Lucky Samaru, how widespread are these issues across the family court system, and is this mainly a problem in South, or is it a national issue?
It's actually a national issue. We have 3 family courts in Trinidad and Tobago. There's one in Port of Spain, there's one in Princestown, and there's one in Tobago. We have not heard the systemic delays in Tobago that we have in Port of Spain and San Fernando. But you have to remember that in San Fernando, there's only one family court judge sitting. So that is especially difficult given the lack of judicial officers that are appointed to San Fernando. But it is actually across the board, Port of Spain and San Fernando in particular. We have been getting feedback that the delays have become very difficult, and they're affecting the client's access to justice, as it were.
Okay, so Ms. Lacan, can you, or even Ms. Samaru, both of you can kind of piggyback on this question. What is the process supposed to be like for someone who comes to the family court? So I'm in need of something. Can you walk us through what are the steps? Yeah.
Well, initially, one thinks of, say, a petition for divorce. We do have family proceedings rules which require that petitions have what we call a first directions hearing within 8 weeks. That has been slipping constantly. And a colleague reached out to me very early this morning to say a petition was filed in Princestown, which is the South Division of the Family Court, and the petition, the first date of hearing is 8 months away.
Wow.
And that is not the intent of the rules, that's not the intent of the family court. It's supposed to be delivering expedited justice in family matters. Similarly, we have matters where the adjourned dates between a hearing to another hearing has been extended. It used to be something like 3 months, which would give the attorneys time to work out matters, to prepare their documents, to come back to court. We now have matters where you can get a hearing once in a year, in a calendar year, which really defeats the purpose of what we considered the Rolls-Royce court. The family court was designed to expedite and deal expeditiously with family matters, and that has just fallen by the wayside. Not through, I don't know whose fault it is. I don't want to, we're not here to cast blame on anyone, but the system is collapsing.
Yes.
And I think Ms. Lacan will verify that.
And to add to what Senior has indicated, with domestic violence matters, when we file a matter, it's usually through particular forms that we would file on the online platform, and then you're supposed to get a date that is pretty urgent based on the nature of the matter itself and the intention of the act. And sometimes, whilst you may get a date, perhaps within a week or two in some instances, the return date for those matters, even if orders are made without the other party being present, the return date is quite long. Sometimes it can be as much as a year as well. And it was anticipated that those return dates should be pretty short, especially if orders are being made without both parties being heard. So I endorse what Senior is saying in terms of there is really a collapse in the system, but I would also say to balance that there has been a steady increase in the number of divorces and domestic violence applications being filed over the years in Trinidad and Tobago.
So what about the regular citizen Jane or citizen John? What happens when their parents or they need a divorce or something like that? How do these delays really and truly affect them? Have you heard any particular stories?
Yes, psychologically it has taken a toll on a number of persons. They would come back to the attorneys, to us. Sometimes we get blamed, but it causes a lot of emotional distress, especially when children are involved. You have parties in a home living together in dysfunction, and there needs to be some order or some assistance or immediate assistance being provided to the home. And the family court was designed, I think it was around 20 or 21 years ago, with a social services department to assist the parties. Sometimes mediation is provided free. There's it really promoted a approach via conciliation as opposed to litigation, or where you would have social workers investigating the complaints being made. So once there's a delay, it sort of adds to the trauma and the psychological distress that the family and the children feels in a home.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. One of the difficulties that we find as well is that where there are custody disputes concerning children and access, you find that more and more, and I've been doing this for a long time, that children now require therapy, because where in the early days of the family court, that's since 2004, what we found is within a year or maybe 18 months, we could have decisions made with respect to custody and access to children. These cases are running on to 3 and 4 years now, and children are in a state of limbo. They're not sure where they're going to live. They're not sure what kind of access they're going to have to the non-custodial parent. And so we find that children more and more require some sort of therapeutic intervention. And that itself is also putting a strain on the family court through their social services department, because there are people who cannot afford to go privately. Clients cannot afford to have their children attend therapy privately, so they rely on the social services system. And I find more and more now, children are feeling the brunt, especially in matters concerning children, of the delays in the family courts.
So does this speak to the resource management of the court? Because I know there are cases, there were some matters that require just 10 minutes to resolve, and these ones are being adjourned for a year or more. So what does that signal or speak to the resource management of the court?
And this is why we ask for an investigation. It's really to look at where the shortfalls are in terms of the resources of the court and how it can be improved upon to increase the efficiency in terms of these hearings. And it's why the ASL in particular asks for docketing policy to be published so that there can be some guidelines as to how dates are assigned and some transparency in the system. And one of the other things we asked for was really a formal review or escalation mechanism so that unlisted matters like that falls through the crack. For example, when a judge retires, and we've had situations in the past where multiple judges retired and then the matters that they would have had on their dockets would have been on the system for years before it was listed before another judge. So there needs to be a total investigation into the system to look at how it can be improved upon.
All right. So, Mrs. Samaru, you are a senior attorney. You were awarded Silk in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
so
I believe so. Yes.
So what do you make of all of this? Is this a new issue, or is this something that has been happening for very, very long?
It actually kind of crept up on us because unfortunately I was around. Family court started on the 18th of May 2004, and at that point it was a pilot project, and the government had properly resourced it. It had all the support network that it needed. They had intake officers, mediators, social workers, probation officers. Of course, there are difficulties that have nothing to do with the actual practice of law in keeping staff at the family court because of contract workers and they're not part of the permanent establishment and that sort of thing. So those kind of issues accelerated the decline in productivity of the family court because we lost a lot of the staff that we had. And I know this because there was a family court monitoring committee and I had the benefit of sitting on it, and we would produce reports and statistics on a yearly basis to ascertain how the pilot project was working. Unfortunately, that was subsequently disbanded when it became a permanent fixture. We decided, yes, we need the family court. But what you found is it's hard to keep the support staff that a family court needs. The intake officers, the psychologists, the mediators, that sort of thing. And so the support system is also somewhat lacking, and I can't, there's no one to blame. It's part of the system that has happened. But I will say that in 2005, I could finish an entire matter within 1 year to 18 months. But now...
Okay, it seems we may be experiencing a little bit of technical issues there. Ms. Lakan, are you still with us?
I am, and I can hear you clearly.
Okay, that's perfect. We'll just probably give Mrs. Amaru some time to come back on.
Yeah. What I want...
She's back. She's back?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just saying that now we cannot advise clients as to how long they're going to be in court. It can be 3 years, 4 years, or even more, actually.
So I've had cases that are as old as 14 years before the court. I mean, they're rare, but there's still cases that are 10 to 14 years.
So you would have said... You would have said something about a monitoring system that was disbanded when you decided that it needed to become a fixture. Do you think if you still had this system, you would need CJ Evo Archie's probe?
Absolutely. I think that there should be there should be a reintroduction of the Family Court Monitoring Committee, because that committee met every single month and it tried to identify the issues as they happened and advise the Chief Justice and in those days the Ministry of the Attorney General as to what resources or what steps had to be taken to resolve the issues that had been identified.
Well, I know you would have called for transparent docketing policy and a judicial code of conduct for masters, right? So what specific standards or mechanisms would you like to see introduced to hold the judicial officers accountable?
There's already a code of conduct for judges. I believe that there should be one similarly for masters. And with respect to the code of conduct, there should be time limits or guidelines as to how long a case should be before the system, and also guidelines with respect to judgments. And it's not new. The Commonwealth, there are Commonwealth countries with some guidelines in place for judicial officers in terms of the conduct and efficient management of their matters and their caseload docket.
Agreed. I think that we also have a difficulty with the inconsistency in the ways in which matters are dealt with. Right now we have, and this is anecdotal because I have asked for statistics, but I have not yet received it, that the time between adjournments before judges can, in a lot of cases, be shorter than before masters. And that brings me back to a peeve that I have had with the judiciary for a long time, which is, what is the optimum size of a docket for judicial officers? It cannot be that as long as there are cases, the matters will be put before a judicial officer. You cannot have 1,800 cases before a master and 1,300 cases before a judge, because they will never have the time. But I don't know that any research has been done, and this has been requested, I think in 2013 or 2014, to ascertain what is the optimum docket. How many matters can a judicial officer have and continue to provide the access to justice, give them time to write decisions and time to hear the matters. And I don't think that has featured at all in the judicial planning, certainly for the family court.
Just because the word docket has been used so much in the past couple of minutes, let's just explain to the viewers what a docket is.
Sarah?
Well, it's really just a system in place where you have a listing of the matters. So, for example, if you have Judge A and you have a listing of cases, you call that system a docket.
All right.
So make it done as simply as possible.
So
and each judge is given a docket, a list of matters that they have to deal with. Unless there's a change in the judicial officer, retirement or promotion or something like that, the matter is docketed to Judge A and will remain with Judge A or Master A until the matter is determined. So the masters or the judicial officers don't start fresh every time the matter comes before them. At least that was the intent.
And to follow up with from what Leslie-Ann is saying, if you have a judge, for example, in Princestown, we have one judge there who is about to retire. We don't know how big his docket is. It may very well be around a couple hundred cases. Those cases would have to be reassigned to a different judge to take over or to continue when that particular judge retires.
Wow, okay.
So have you received a response from the JLSC or Chief Justice Eva Archie since submitting this letter?
Not as yet from the Assembly of Southern Lawyers, and I know that the Family Law Association also sent correspondence, so I would leave it to Ms. Lucky Samaru to indicate whether she received any formal response.
No, the Family Law Association has not actually received either an acknowledgement or response to date. And we're very concerned about that because both the ASL and the FLA are professional bodies of lawyers, and the judiciary has to interact with us. That's how litigation is conducted, and we feel that it's a little bit disrespectful to not even acknowledge that we have sent a letter.
And that's what I was going to comment on.
Yes, absolutely.
Not even an acknowledgement that, hey, we received this, not even impersonally. Can you speak to that at all?
I have no idea why we have not received. I mean, these letters not only go in soft copy, we actually hand deliver letters to the Office of the Chief Justice down at the Judicial Complex. And so we're fairly certain that it's received. We're not sure why we have not received any response, but it's concerning, yes.
Apart from that formal response or letter answering your concerns, have you heard at all over the period any sort of explanation from the judiciary regarding the issues, the delays, and all the case management issues?
Anything that makes sense? Any explanation
as to why this is happening?
No, not on my end from the ASL, but I would say that we are open to collaborative reform and to consultation. And I am of the view that silence is not an acceptable response.
Right. So, okay, so I want to touch on the issue of the attorneys experiencing burnout and emotional distress, litigants suffering emotional distress, and resuming trauma counseling. You know, how is this climate affecting legal professionals and the public trust in the system?
One of the things we have to deal with as family practitioners is the emotions with our clients. It is not as rigid as commercial law, where you're just dealing with facts. You have to also deal with emotions. And when clients are frustrated with the delays or when problems arise during a period of months, they continuously reach out to us and express their frustration. And sometimes it's frustrating for us as well when we hear multiple complaints, because as a family practitioner, we are powerless to, for example, hasten the case. We are also dependent on the system and how quickly the system moves or how efficient it is.
So when we say the system, are you meaning that we need approvals from this person, person A, person B, person C, person D, and so on? What is the system?
About the delays. So, for example, if I attend court today, my adjourned date may very well be 6 months into the future. But within that 6-month period, there are a lot of problems or difficulties which may arise, especially if we just get, for example, orders to file documents. But within that time of filing documents, there may be hiccups, especially when there are children involved. And as attorneys, we try our best sometimes to mediate between the parties. Sometimes we would have conferences with each other to resolve issues as best as we can. But due to the delay sometimes from, let's say, from today to the adjourned date, there's so many problems arising that frustration translates from the client to the attorneys. And when we have multiple clients expressing that frustration, to us, it sometimes affects us as well psychologically. And it causes us to have some burnout as well in terms of dealing with letters, because it increases our workload in terms of having to communicate with counsel on the other side.
Yes, I completely...
Right. Sorry, and I think it does affect our practice and our ability to practice and earn an income. This is what we do for a living. But if I have a matter that is taking up so much time, because as Ms. Lakan has said, between the adjourned dates, there are a lot of things that come up that require our attention. It means that I don't have the time to take on another matter because you only have a certain amount of hours in the day, and it increases the cost to the existing client. Whereas if justice was expedited, we could have more turnover in matters, have resolutions, and move on to other matters. So it actually does delay our practice as well, because we are committed to clients and matters, and it's hard to find the additional time to take on more matters. At least that has happened with me.
So we're just getting some questions through our viewers here. They're asking for the family court custody of children, especially children who may be more special needs, autistic, and so on. Are there any efforts made to speed up the process for them, or are they treated like regular children, neurotypical children?
In my experience, they're treated as regular children. There's no distinction between a special needs child and a non-special needs child, and it also depends on the judicial officer who's dealing with the matter as well, and their exercise of discretion.
Correct. I concur that is exactly what has happened. I've had a number of matters where children are either autistic or they are special needs in some other way, and there has been no priority given in the family court to having those matters dealt with expeditiously.
Okay, there's another question. It says transparent docket system. What happens when one party in a divorce refuses to cooperate?
Well, in such an instance, it really depends on the judge and the judicial officer sitting in the matter. So if there's a refusal, the judge will then, or master or judicial officer will then exercise his or her discretion and make the orders that are appropriate to have some form of justice or between the parties.
Yeah, I agree with that. The fact is that the family proceedings rules permit judges to hear matters where the other side refuses to participate or refuses to attend court, refuses to file any documents. The court can deal with the matter. They simply have to be assured that the other party has been served and is aware of the proceedings. And some judges will actually have their own staff reach out to ensure that the non-appearing party is informed. But yes, we do have judges who will hear matters, make rulings, make determinations as far as custody access if the other party simply refuses to cooperate.
Right. So we do have to begin to wrap up. But just about what's next? So you guys maybe going to pen another letter to the JLSC or anybody else you can reach out to get this matter taken seriously?
Yeah, well, certainly from the Family Law Association, we have actually taken a decision that if we do not get any response to our reminder letter to the chief, we will be going public with this because I think it is such an important issue, because when the family courts do not operate properly, it can assist societal breakdown, because we have a lot of angry and upset and clients who don't trust the system, and we cannot have people taking what they perceive as justice into their own hands. So we're very concerned about that, and we will go public if we have to get a response.
On behalf of the ASL, we will continue to follow up, but I think we've already made our position quite public and our efforts. We will continue to be transparent in terms of the actions that we take in following up.
Before we wrap up, I just want to ask though, how important is that balance between judicial independence and then public oversight? Because I know the ASL said that they're not attacking the integrity of the judiciary. This is not what it's about.
No, it's really looking at the system right now as it is, the dysfunction in the system, and we're calling upon the relevant officers to attempt to make that system more efficient for the public and for the interests of justice.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on and giving us context in this regard. I believe it cleared up a lot of questions for us and for our viewers as well. So to Mrs. Samaru and to Ms. Lakan, have a beautiful day. And yeah.
Same to you, ladies, and thanks for having us.
Of course. Thanks so much. So to our viewers, we are going to just take a short break, and next up we have another exciting interview for you on the lighter side to continue with our good news today. So stay with us. Bye-bye.
The fluid retention occurs in the lungs and they get short of breath, particularly with exertion, and is a particularly condition where when lying down they feel short of breath and have to use a lot of pillows. That's a sign that the shortness of breath might be due to heart failure.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we kind of have a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
The best for your baby is at thebesttoys.com. From the best strollers, car seats, baby carriers, high chairs, booster seats, rockers, jumpers and bouncers, walkers, baby blankets, feeding accessories, bathtubs. Visit us in-store at Forces Flagship McVean. Shop online now at thebesttoys.com. Order via call or WhatsApp at 332-BABY. And remember, we have the best toys at the best prices.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the game.
no.
Let's go to the last part.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
Nah, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
They believe we defend criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploiting the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movie Town, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Welcome back to the program this morning. So, we're jumping straight into our next conversation, as Jada said. It's a lot lighter. It's one that it's kind of in theme with our Good News Day. So, this year marks the 15th anniversary of the United Way Trinidad and Tobago's Day of Caring. This is an annual nationwide movement that brings together volunteers, private and public sector partners, and communities under the unifying theme, United is the Way. This is set for Sunday, the 18th of May, 2025. This initiative empowers citizens to take action and give back in a tangible and impactful way. So joining us today on the program are Gail Suknaran, the CEO of United Way Trinidad and Tobago, and Dehan Siram, acting principal of Salazar Trace Government Primary School. That was one of the schools that benefited from last year's Day of Caring initiative. So we will be talking about the vision behind the initiative, the impact on schools and communities, and how people can get involved this year. Good morning, Ms. Salazar. Sorry, I think I confused that. Good morning, Mr. Grind. Good morning, Mr. Siram.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, and thank you for having us.
Yes, of course. So, Ms. Suknaran, 15 years is a major milestone. You know, it's a long time. What does the Day of Caring represent to United Way and to the communities that you serve?
So, this initiative obviously started, 15 years ago. Trinidad United Way has been in Trinidad and Tobago for the last 25 years. And it started off as a day for children in community residences, so in homes. And it was a day to bring children out all in one area, so at a park or at a location, so that, and different activities would have occurred on that day for the kids. That evolved into something more sustainable, something where we could get volunteers more involved and corporate partners. And it started with the Day of Caring. It is part of the overall United Way international ethos of giving back through advocating, volunteering, or through giving funds. And so this is our biggest volunteerism day in Trinidad and Tobago. And it takes place on May 18th. It evolved. It was the brainchild of one of our past directors, Jervis Warner. And it just evolved into a very large number of activities with projects partners like Mr. Siram and his school, as well as corporates coming together, bringing out their employees or employees coming out and really putting some sweat equity into the community.
I like that, sweat equity. So the theme for 2025 is United is the way, United, is the way. So what does this theme mean in the context of community and volunteerism?
Well, we feel that we can't do everything alone. So we feel that United is the only way that we can make sustainable change in communities. And what that also represents is a little bit of inclusion. So people from all aspects of life coming out, different ages, coming out from the communities. So it could be whoever make up that community, whether it's NGOs, CBOs, publics, privates, coming out to work together to make communities better.
So, Mr. Siram, if I'm not mistaken, what was the experience like last year for your school?
Okay, well, pleasant good morning to everyone, the panel and viewing audience. Okay, so the experience was really great. I was really impressed with the work that was done. The effect of the work was shown on the faces of the children. That was the most important thing there. I was really pleased to be part of the program and to be benefiting from the program. So the end result is seeing the looks on the faces of children.
That is beautiful. So, Mr. Narayan, what are some of the specific community needs that this year's Day of Caring project will aim to address?
So similarly to what Mr. Siram just spoke about, at Salazar Government Primary School, we would have had, that school is in Point Fortin. So Atlantic LNG actually did a project last year in that school, and they would have painted classrooms, they would have retiled some of the floors in classrooms. United Way picked up a very large project and actually renovated the entire bathroom block for that school, which was 2 stories. How did we do that? We did that from contributions from a lot of our corporate partners, pooling those resources together to be able to do a project of that size. So what are we looking for this year in terms of projects? It could be school beautification, so in the forms of, again, painting classrooms, cleaning up. Sometimes it's desks and furnitures that needs repairs, minor electrical and plumbing works that need to be done. Or it could be, we have some projects that are a kitchen garden, planting, grow boxes, beautifications of the outside area of the school, maybe a play field, or the landscape of, or the surrounding areas of the school. And then we do have some community projects, planting trees, beach cleanups, or just something in the community. It might be your community center or a basketball court or play field for children in the community, something that needs to be upgraded so it could be of better use.
So what is different about United is the Way is that there's a large amount of volunteerism happening. Just in 2024, I read that you have over 2,100 volunteers that contributed to over 50 impactful projects. What was that experience like, managing a load of that size, and what are you looking for in care ambassadors? Who are the care ambassadors that you're looking for in 2025?
So care ambassadors, we consider care ambassadors to be any person who really put in that sweat equity, who wants to just come out and volunteer on a project. Usually it's easier to partner with your organization or company. And so we have a lot of corporate partners that work with us on this project, and they get their employees to come out. We have t-shirts that we all wear on the day. Maybe food or snacks have to be provided for volunteers. And of course, everybody come out. Last year we had over 40 projects across Trinidad and in Tobago, as far and wide as south, so Point Fortin, like Mr. Siram is representing this morning, up to Matura, to the west, in Digo Martin, and then of course a few projects in Tobago as well. And so it is a bit of logistics to organize. We do have committees, but this is something, of course, with 15 years of experience that we have the methodology down.
Yes, that is beautiful. And then schools like Mr. Siran's own can benefit from that experience.
I have a question for Mr. Siram. You know, in your view, how important do you think these partnerships between schools and these NGOs such as United Way are?
Well, it is very important because, you know, a lot of schools, they face different challenges, and the support that we get from people like United Way, along with the supporting companies, helps us to achieve different goals, because, you know, each school will have what you call a school development plan, in which a number of things have to be achieved. It also goes in keeping with what the Ministry of Education is pursuing right now, which is cultural transformation. So everything comes together nicely and helps with the whole process of teaching learning environment in providing a safe environment for children to learn.
So yes, I must commend the initiative just once again. Many companies have made this part of their CSR initiatives. So what advice do you have for businesses that, you know, want to get involved, maybe smaller businesses that want to get involved, but they don't really know where to start?
Okay, so, that question is directed to me or Ms.
Yes, Ms. Signorin.
So I would advise companies to choose something, start off small. Choose something in their area of expertise. So a company might have a specific product that they're selling, or a particular skill set in terms of service. Choose something that's probably closer or more aligned with that. Some companies, as you said, have CSR, so something within their CSR objective or initiative would be useful. And then, of course, a bite-sized project based on their volunteers. So based on the size of the organization, something small to start off with. If this is their first year, they'll have to have a budget for it, because we have the proposals at United Way that many of the schools and communities, as well as NGOs, would have submitted to us. So they can choose one of our projects or proposals, which would be the needs of communities, or something that they have had a request on, maybe in their community or the community that organization work, and then say to United Way, we want to be part of this Day of Caring initiative. And so there's a registration form. It's available on our website. I believe I'm seeing our contact numbers are 717-8630 or unitedway@uwtt.com. So that you can just contact the office. We'd get you the registration, send you the registration, as well as the list of proposals, and register with us. Get your staff to come out and be part of this Day of Caring on Sunday, May 18th.
So both of you can answer this question. You guys can kind of piggyback on it. But what does it mean to be a part of an initiative to you that really benefits communities, builds strong and resilient communities? So personally, what that means for you?
Miss, you want to go first, Ms. Gill?
Okay, so I could start. So what it means for me is really, it's a way of, when you come out on that day, or when someone participates in a project like this, it's a first-hand experience of what the needs of communities are. So we can see firsthand some of the challenges that, let's say, schools have, or the needs that schools have. Then we work with people in the communities. So, of course, speaking to the people who are from the community, we can, directly understand some of their challenges or some of the stumbling blocks that they face, and which, to me, helps with saying, well, we could work together. We could probably come up with a different project, maybe in September, maybe at the end of December. Maybe this is a program we need. And working together, or working in communities like this, helps us to effect change. So whereas we might see it's a small project that we're doing, but many small projects lead to to big changes.
Yes.
And this is the only way I feel that we could have a better community or environment going forward. Yeah.
And so, Mr. Siram, what does this mean to you personally? Does this fulfill something in you?
Sure, it does, miss. It does. I can tell you from experience that, you drive into the school compound and you would see, the building brighten up, looking better. I remember that after the project that they did with the toilets, and then when I arrived in school, some children, they ran up to me and said, Sir, have you seen how the toilet is looking?
Beautiful.
They're feeling like they're in a mall. So it was done of such great quality. Right?
Yes.
So I am very much thankful for the work of United Way and the companies that associate with them to volunteer for this. So yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot, and I am looking forward to all the projects and all the support that we can get from them.
So, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to add, sometimes when a company come out and it might be a proposal, obviously it's a project that can be completed in one day for this Day of Caring project. But sometimes companies after that say to us, say to the schools, say to whoever they're working with, whether they're an NGO, we want to adopt this school, or we want to do something more. And so they would start off as the first phase for the Day of Caring. But then many times it's a continuous support that the school or the NGO will get. And for me, that's a warm, fuzzy feeling. That feels great.
Yes, it would. I'm glad that it had that personal effect on you. So for person, this is it's an impactful project. It can go across countries. So what about people who can't come and volunteer in person? How can they support this movement?
So they can support through in kind. Well, in kind would be in person, but financial donations, and you can get the information on our website at uwtt.com on how you can donate.
Okay, that is beautiful. So looking ahead, how do you see this Day of Caring continuing to grow and inspire a culture of volunteerism across Trinidad and Tobago and even the Caribbean?
So we see this as being able to create a more sustainable movement, so a movement of giving back, a movement of volunteering in your community with other NGOs, with other organizations to really support communities to grow and to benefit. So as I say, it could be counseling, it could be program. We have a literacy program in schools, and we work with schools like Mr. Siram's school for a holistic program that involves supporting children, parents, and the teachers at the school. So, other organizations could get involved into various programs that communities may need. And of course, we see that as a continuous effort, not just on one particular day.
Seeing, where you would like to see United Way go in the next couple of years, can you just touch on, from inception, it started in 2013. Can you just talk on how much the organization has evolved since then to now?
So we are celebrating our 25th year this year of being in Trinidad and Tobago. United Way is part of a global network with 1,200 United Ways across the world. And so the organization initially started as an NGO that would get resources, pool the resources together to support other NGOs. So other NGOs that might be who has specialty services or specialty products. So we support those NGOs, and then of course that evolved into us understanding communities better and implementing our own programs in communities. And as we look towards the future, what we are looking at is trying to assess community needs better using data, so we can partner with corporate to be able to communicate the needs of communities to get better support.
We do thank you for all the work that you're putting in for this initiative, and I can see that it is making change across Trinidad and Tobago. So do you have any last words you'd like to add as we wrap up?
So we want to encourage new companies, new partners, and even the ones that are very familiar with United Way to come out, bring your employees, and come out on May 18th, 2025, and be part of this movement with us on the Day of Caring.
All right, so the Day of Caring, May 18th, 2025. Mr. Siram?
Yes, well, I would like to say thank you very much to United Way for all that they would have done for the school. It's, I know I just mentioned, Miss Gail just mentioned the toilets, but a number of things they would have done for the school during that time of the pandemic, and it was very a challenging time. They assisted the school in many ways. Not only the children, but also with respect to parents and stuff. So we would have benefited a lot, and I want to encourage United Way to continue the good work they have been doing, and also to encourage other companies to get involved. It is really making a great impact on schools.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for that ad.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. We hope that you do have a beautiful day, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so just as we wrap up there, if you want to get into contact with them, the number is 717-8630, 717-8630, or you can go to their website, UnitedWay, at uwtt.com.
Oh, I think did you mention where this is happening, where everybody has to come out?
Oh no, these are we have projects throughout the country, so at various locations in Trinidad as well as Tobago.
Okay, so if you want to find, I guess it's a location closest to you.
Yes.
Contact you, right?
All right.
So you can reiterate the number.
Yes, the number is 717-8630, 717-8630, or you can go on their website for more information, UnitedWay at uwtt.com. All right, thanks so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Bye. Have a good day.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well, that ends our show for today. Why can't I remember the date? Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday, the 6th of May. The year is moving by really, really fast, guys. We're already in this is the 5th month of the year, so we're halfway.
It's just Christmas.
Halfway through, yeah. We're almost halfway through. But we're going to wrap up today. As always, we're going to leave you with a quote. Quote I got for you guys today: no matter the story, the struggle, or the success, every voice matters. Let's keep listening, learning, and leading with purpose.
Which is what United Way is doing.
Yeah, I think
so
it was perfectly on theme. So, as Jada says, comments,
engage with us. Put your discussions up, any comments that you want to leave, WESNCC on our website, YouTube, Facebook. You can find us everywhere, guys. So connect with us, and maybe your comments can be featured here on AM Prime with Naomi and I.
Yep. So stay safe, stay inspired, and stay informed. We'll see you back here again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
I am Dr. Delphina Ovid, your friendly neighborhood dentist. At Community Hospital Dental Clinic, we offer examinations which include x-rays, basic oral cancer screening, and a treatment plan. We also offer cleanings, fillings, extractions, root canal treatment, and complete and partial dentures. Remember, you don't have to brush and floss all your teeth, just the ones you want to keep.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.